Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. Here in this video, I'm going to discuss null functions in SQL. Okay, so what are the different null functions in SQL and what is the use of null function? How we can use null function? Okay, so basically null functions are used. Null functions are used to deal with null values. To deal with null values in calculation. Okay. Suppose if I try to perform any of the operation, I will say select, and if I try to add 10 plus null, if I try to add this kind of operation, you can see the output will be null. Okay, any arithmetic operation, if you try to perform a null value, it will results you as a null. Okay, and that's what I don't want. Whenever I try to perform, I will try to perform any operation on any of the column. If that column contains null value, it should return me a null, but I don't want that. Okay, in that case, null functions are going to help us. Okay, so MySQL has two null functions. Okay, both function names are different, but the work of these two functions or output of these two functions will remain same. So it allow you to replace the null value with another value. Okay, so how we can use if null and COALESCE. Okay, so whenever there is a value of null in any of the column, we can use if null. So I will use if null here. Okay, and inside that, let's say this value is my null value. Instead of null, it should use 1. Okay, since I am multiplying I use 1. If you try to perform the arithmetic plus or minus, then you are supposed to use 0. Okay, and this is how we can use if null function. Okay, if null function. So if null function will allow you to change the null value into a useful value, so that your result should not be null. Okay, so that's why I said null functions are used to deal with a null value in calculation. Okay, this is how we can use null function. Another null function is called COALESCE. Okay, same thing I am going to perform. I will say plus, and here I will use COALESCE function. Okay, and this function is again same null, and I will use 0. Since there is addition, I don't want to use 1. Okay, if I use 1 at this place, what it will do? It will add 1 into 10. Okay, that's why. It depends upon the operation. You have to select what value you are supposed to pass. You can use another value or another column's value. That is also fine. But how to use that while querying the data? How to use the null functions while querying the data? Let's say I have a table. I will create a table. Create table. Okay, and I will say test. Create table. I will say test. Okay, and inside of that, I will create one table. Table column. Okay, T column, or what we can say that number column of integer type values. So this is how I have created table. Okay, database is not yet selected. I will select database called use cells data database, so that I can create table on that database. Okay, I will remove output window. Now I am going to create table. Now table is created. You can see that test table is created here. Okay, I'm going to insert the values. So what I will do, I will insert 1 to 10. I will insert 1 to 10. Okay, I will show you how this works, or how we can use null functions while querying the data. So I'm going to insert into, I will say test. And okay, here I will write values and 1. This is my first value. Then 2. This is my second value. Then suppose I have a value called null. Okay, I can insert null value also, right? So on next line, I can insert 4. On next line, okay, let me try with only 5 values. I mean value up to 5. It is fine. I just wanted to show you the working. Okay, I have inserted a record. Now if I try to fetch the records, okay, I will say select star from test. This is what my table name. And here you can see that I have a column with value null. I have a column with value. I will try to use that column. Okay, I will try to use that column. I will just simply try to multiply the column, or I will just simply going to add the column. I will say num. Number is my first column. Then I will add another column as added number. Okay, but to added number, I would like to do a calculation, and I will say added number as, and here I will add num plus 10. Okay, so I am going to add 10 everywhere in my all these 5 records, and I will say from test. Okay, so this is how we can write. Alias I used, alias I already discussed in my previous videos, and here you can see that even though I am trying to perform the operation, I'm trying to add the 10 to the null value, my output will remains null. My output will remains null, and I don't want this. So in that case, I can use this COALESCE or if null function. So simply I will use if null. When if null means when the value of this num column is null, it will replace that value with 0. It will replace that value with 0. And now if I try to perform the operation, you can see the output that it is returning me 10, which is this is what I have added, and 0 is considered instead of null. 0 is considered instead of null. So this is how we can use, instead of this, you can use another function, that is what COALESCE. Okay, syntax of both the functions remains same. You are supposed to pass the values. Okay, null value, and if null value found, it will use the alternate value. We can say alternate value, or it will replace null value with whatever the value we will pass inside the function as a second argument or second parameter. So this is how we can use null functions in SQL. I hope you got a clear picture how we can use null functions. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Do not forget to subscribe web chat.